Hi everyone, welcome to the Violet May Handmade podcast episode 3. We are a mother and daughter team. I'm Caitlin.
And I'm Samantha. First we're going to start with some finished projects that we've completed since last time.
So I'll start off. So my first finished project is my Elements hat, which is a pattern by Nancy Said. So this is it finished here. And I'm just thrilled with the way it's turned out. So the yarn that I've used for this is a 100% wool, and it's in this lovely chestnut brown colour. So last time I showed my matching pair of Elements gloves that I've made to this, and I'm just really thrilled with it. So I had to work more rows on this ribbing before I joined it in the round, just to make it fit a bit nicer around my head. And then we decided to add a faux fur pom-pom to it. So it's just in this white faux fur that we had. So we used a 6.5 inch plate to trace the circle, and it made this sort of size. And then we just put elastic on the pom-pom, and then on the inside of the hat there's a button, so you can remove it if you want to. So I'm really pleased with that. And then after I'd made this, I still had a little bit of yarn left over from the 200 gram balls that I had. I still had this much, which was about 60 grams. And then I went and bought another 3 balls so that I can make the Elements scarf, which is the third matching pattern to this one. And I'm really excited about doing that. I'm really pleased with how this has turned out.
My first finished object is the Cloud9 cardigan by Iron Lamb that we were working on last time. I was having trouble with the sleeves. I'd made one that was just huge and one that was skin tight, and so Caitlin kindly took over the sleeves for me and finished the cardigan. So I'm really thrilled with the result. I think it looks absolutely gorgeous, and the contrast up the top and the little bobbles down the bottom, they just look really nice.
So the next thing that I finished was a plan that I had last time, and this is the Gooseberry Fool shawl from the Delicious Crochet Shawls book by Lisa Cook. And I was using this lovely hobby yarn. It was a Tweed Delight in this sort of just beigey neutral colour, but it's got those lovely tweedy flecks in it. So I'm really, really pleased with this because I really like these sort of cow cross shawl things that don't fall off. So we'll put in a picture of what this looks like on. And so it's got this beautiful tassel fringe along the edge, which I've put all of these on, but I'm thinking that I need to do a bit of trimming. I don't think they're all quite even, like that one there's a bit uneven there. But I'm really, really pleased with this, and I think that it will go with a lot of things in my wardrobe during the winter, if it ever comes.
So last time I was working on my single skein necklet. It's a pattern by Nancy Said. So I've got it finished now, and I think it is just looking absolutely gorgeous. I'm really, really thrilled with it. So on the edge, it has got this most gorgeous detail of the little flowers. They're so pretty, and I think just look so cute. I will say that the flowers are, if you don't like slip stitching, which I'm not a huge fan of, they do take quite a bit of time to do. I don't know why, I just really struggle with slip stitches, but the end result is well worth it, and I think it's just absolutely gorgeous, and I just can't wait to wear it.
It is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
That yarn really shines in that pattern.
Yeah, the colours are so pretty. So we'll put a photo in with us wearing it, so you can see.
Well, not both of us.
Obviously not, no. Yes, okay. When I'd finished my single skein necklet, I just had a small amount of yarn left. It was about 16 grams, and we bought this pattern for the Crochet Memories blanket by Hannah from the Cozy Cottage Crochet, and it's the crocheted version of the knitted blanket. I'm not sure what that one's called, Caitlin.
I think it's just the Cozy Memories blanket.
Cozy Memories blanket, yeah. So this is the little square here that Caitlin crocheted up. So it uses about 7 grams. So if you've got some yarn left over from a project, it's just perfect just to whip up a little square. So Caitlin crocheted this, so she'll know more about how it's, I think it's corner to corner, but when you do your next square, you can join it on, and you can join it on in any position. I'm not quite sure how that works, but
no, neither am I yet, but I've never actually done anything corner to corner before, and it was actually really fun. And if you buy the pattern, which is only like $1 US, there's also a video tutorial that Hannah has on her YouTube channel that's sort of, I think it's how to do the square and how to do the joining, but I just read the instructions for this version. But I have watched the video.
So I also, when I'd done that, obviously I still had a little bit of yarn left. So my plan is to put the last remaining bit of yarn into my recovery shawl. So this is one that we showed last time, but since then I've done quite a bit of work, and so has Caitlin. My stitch marker is there, so I've worked from there down since last time. So I'm really thrilled with the progress, and I think it's just the colours are just looking really beautiful.
They are. I really, really love yours. I've also been putting quite a lot of work into this. So my stitch marker is right here, so I've worked from there down, which is quite a lot because the rows are getting very long now. I find that there's a lot of stitches in it. But I really love this section here, like all of those pretty like purples. And it's quite interesting how this yarn sort of like pooled in different places, you know, at the start and the end of the row. But I am loving working on this. And this colour that I'm working on now, this sort of black, that's actually the leftovers from my single skein necklet that I showed last time. And then what I have left of this, I'm also going to make a square to put on our Crochet Memories blanket.
Just imagine how long the rows will be when we get to a bigger section of the shawl. So last time I mentioned that I was going to start the Bobbly Beauty shawl out of the Simply Crochet number 124. So the yarn that I had is the Bendigo Woolen Mills Calypso, and it is, I don't have the tag.
I think it's about 60% wool and 40% cotton.
Yeah, I think that was it. It's a really, really unusual yarn, and when I've been working with it, it's very, very, oh, you won't be able to see probably, but it's very slubby. It's got quite thick and thin sort of bits in it, but it's really gorgeous, and I'm quite enjoying it. So this is the work I've done on the shawl there. I just think it's so pretty. The colour is just absolutely gorgeous, and the bobbles, I just love bobbles, as you know. So I'm really enjoying working on that, and I can't wait to do a little more work on it soon.
It creates it's like a really nice like weight of
it is, yes.
Work, and it's worked with a 4mm, isn't it? So it's quite a dense sort of stitch. Yeah. It's really, really nice. So I've made a start on the plan that I mentioned last time, which was my Amazing Grace Angel Wing Shawl by Beatrice Ryan Designs. And we will put in a picture of the purple one that was made in the yarn that I'm using, which is the Bendigo Woolen Mills multicoloured 4-ply sock yarn, and I'm using the Pastel Dreams colourway. So I've made quite a bit of progress on this, and I am just loving how the colours are looking. It's just a really pretty colour combination. Like there's a little bit of purple down in this section. And so this is worked with a 5.5mm hook is what I'm using, and it's only 4-ply, so it creates a really light, sort of airy, drapey work. Yeah. And I am really, really looking forward to having this.
So pretty.
It is. Yeah. So I actually had 4 100-gram balls of this yarn because I was originally making the sweater, and I am going to use 2 of them for this particular shawl, and then do a contrasting edging, maybe a pink or a blue or something like that. And
that'd be pretty,
wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And then I am going to use the other 2 balls to make the same shawl, but just do a different coloured edging, and give that one to you.
Oh, thank you.
So, that's what I'm doing with those. I'm just loving working on this, and I'm looking forward to putting a few more rows in to see how those colours come out, because this is the ball that I'm currently working on. So as you can see, it's got a bit more yellow and some blue, and then more pink towards the centre. So I'm really excited to see how that sort of turns out, because none of these balls are exactly the same. Like if you buy 2 balls, they're not going to be the same. So it'll create a really, really cool effect.
In our first podcast, I mentioned that I'd like to make the Star Stitch Goblets by Nancy Said. So the yarn that I selected for that was this beautiful magenta yarn. It's 100% wool. When I went to look at the pattern, I thought to myself, oh, I don't know if I'm really up for this. And I was a bit nervous about starting it because I'd never really heard of the Star Stitch before or seen it. But Nina actually has a YouTube channel where she has a video which explains how to do the Star Stitch. And when I watched the video, I thought, I can do this. Like, it just all made sense. So I've made quite a bit of progress on it, and I'm really absolutely loving doing the Star Stitch. It's just a gorgeous stitch, and once you get the hang of it, you understand how to do it. It's actually very, very simple.
And it just creates the most beautiful effect.
Well, it does.
It's just absolutely gorgeous.
The results are amazing, and then you sort of get like a ridge between each of the Star Stitches. So I'm really enjoying working on that, and I can't wait to do some more. So this, I haven't made a glove like this before where it's flat, and obviously you must seam it, but the previous gloves I've made, you've just worked it in the round. So this is just totally new, but I'm really, really enjoying it.
So we'll put in a close-up picture of the stitch pattern because I'm not sure whether it's coming up that well on the screen because of the colour. So I'm also working on some gloves, which are the Book Lovers gloves by Nancy Said, and I have wanted to make these for so long. So the yarn that I'm using is called, it's from Lincraft, and it's called Cozy Wool, which is an 8-ply 100% wool, and I'm just using the navy colourway, which is practical. And so I've made a start on it. So it does use a sort of more interesting stitch pattern, but in this colour it's not really showing up that well. And these gloves seem to be worked the same, flat like this, and then they'll like go like that and go all the way around your hand, seam at the end. And then the really interesting thing about this glove pattern is down the bottom it has a like lace section, which you work in lace weight yarn. So I'm actually really, really looking forward to trying that. I think it's just going to look beautiful. The lace weight yarn that I'm going to put on the bottom of this is a creamy colour. It's an Ice Yarns lace weight yarn that I've had. So it's just going to be a navy and cream pair, and I think that's just going to be really nice and practical.
Oh, it's going to be stunning.
Mm.
Yeah.
I was contemplating putting like some, I'm not exactly sure, I haven't read how the laces worked, but I was almost thinking about putting like some beads into the bottom.
That could be really pretty.
Yeah, so I might look into doing that. So my final whip is something that you haven't seen before, and this is the Desert Irony Poncho, which is a pattern by Catherine, who is Crafternoon Treats. So I'm using Stylecraft Batik DK. The pattern is designed to have these little rows in the middle that I've done all in this grey. It's designed to have those different as well, but I decided to keep that the same throughout the whole poncho, and then just do the coloured larger rows, and I've got a 6 stripe repeat that I'm just going to repeat down. And so the grey that I'm using, that's the graphite, and then I've got mushroom, mint, heather, rose, silver and plum, and then it repeats again. And I am just loving working on this, and I just think that it's going to be the most amazing poncho to wear. I've still got a long way to go, like it's still very small when you put it on, but I'm really enjoying working on that. And so that one is using a 4mm hook. So that's all of our crochet projects, and I'm just going to show my 2 knitted projects that I've been working on. So the first knitted project that I've been working on is my vintage shawl collar cardigan from the Payton's 1224 book. And I am absolutely loving working on this because I just think that it's going to be a really versatile cardigan in my wardrobe. And I have made a lot of progress since last time. So this stitch mark here is where I was. So I've worked from there all the way up to here. So since last time I've done the armhole shaping, and then worked all of that, and then it's got some slight shoulder shaping at the top, so my whole back panel is totally finished. So in total this is 56 centimeters, and I love it. I just absolutely love it. And grey is one of my favourite colours, and I just think that it's just going to be the most awesome cardigan to wear. So next I'm going to be working on the left front, which is less than half the stitches. And then, so this is sort of like a v-neck, so you'll be also decreasing on the other side, not just the armhole side. So I'm really looking forward to getting started on that. And that should go really quite quickly because it's only about 50 stitches, so I'm wanting to get onto that now. And then my second whip is my Rosa jumper, which is by Long Avec Anna. And so I have finished the whole body on this. So I think that I made this shorter than the pattern. I didn't really measure, I just tried it on and did what I thought. So it's sort of like maybe an inch past the top of my jeans. And so it's got the 2x2 ribbing on the bottom, and there's about 2 inches of that. And then, as I showed, it's got, you know, the lace raglan. So I actually finished the body quite a while ago, but I was waiting for my 16-inch circulars to arrive so that I could do the sleeves on this. And they have now arrived, so I can now get started on those. But I just love this, and I'm really pleased with this, and it's a beautiful fit. It's like, it's not, you know, really tight, but it's not loose like my golden rod. So I'm really pleased with that. And I decided that after I finished one of these, my next knitting project is going to be a twin set. So I got some yarn for my birthday. It's a Bendigo Woolmills Classic 5-ply in this beautiful mulberry colour. And out of this Bluebell 5-ply book, I'm not entirely sure what pattern I'm going to make, but there's a lot of short sleeve tops and matching cardigans in here. So I'm going to choose one of those and make that, and I'm so excited to make that. I love a twin set. So that's it for my knitting, but I just have a couple of crochet plans. So my first plan is from the Delicious Crochet Shawls book by Lisa Cook that I made the gooseberry fool out of. So this is the Cherry Bakewell, and I have made this before. I made it for my grandma for something event last year. I'm making one for myself, so I'm using 3 colours of the Lincraft Maker Organic Cotton, which is an 8-ply cotton. So I'm using a cream, sort of a lolly pink, and a navy. So I think the bubbles in that are really going to pop with those 2 strong colours.
Yeah, with the neutral as the main colour, that'll look amazing. Because the one you made for my mum was coral and blue, I think.
And on white. So,
yeah, on white.
And that looked absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
And then my second crochet plan is a Zen Spirit scarf, which is by Nancy Said. So the yarn that I'm going to use is one that we've had in our stash for a long time. We bought it at Big W with no project in mind, but as soon as I saw the Zen Spirit scarf, I knew that it was just going to be perfect for this yarn. So it's an 8-ply colour changing one. 70% acrylic, 30% wool. And it's just got these beautiful colours in it.
Yeah, it was one of those impulse purchases and you don't know what to do with it, but this will be the perfect project, yeah.
So I've made something that I had no intention of making. I just suddenly had the urge to make it. So this is the McCall 7975, which is this lovely top that's got this side twist detail. So I made View D, which is the long sleeve version, because I wanted it to be a wintry top, so you can see it down in the line drawings there. So I used this knit fabric that I bought as a remnant from Spotlight. It was 2 1-meter pieces. And so it's sort of got like this like rib type texture to it. So you can see the twist there. So this was a really clever thing to construct. Like, it's a lot easier than it looks, and I would have never known from looking at it that the way you did it was how you did it.
The pattern piece was very interesting.
So it was a very large pattern piece. And then it's got the neckband there, and then on the cuff, well, on the bottom of the sleeves, you were just supposed to hem it, but I'd watched this video a while ago on making leggings, and it did it completely on the overlocker, and you just sort of like fold a bit in and then back and then just overlock it, so it creates this like faux kind of cuff look, and I just wanted to give that a go and see what it looked like. And I'm quite pleased with it, actually. I think it looks good. So this I constructed this twist detail and did the hem on the bottom with my sewing machine. But apart from that, I used an overlocker to do it, which was really cool.
It's a good way of doing it, isn't it?
Yeah, for knit fabrics, I think it's great. So that's my first one. And then I have another finished object that isn't a dressmaking one. So my grandma taught me how to make bowl cozies because we have these pasta bowls that we eat a lot of our dinners in. And they get really hot because they're quite thin, they're Corelle. And so I knew that she made these and I wanted to learn how to make them. So she taught me how to do them and then I've made one by myself. So this is it. So the way that my grandma does it, she gets a fat quarter and just cuts it into 4 and then you use 2 pieces of fabric and put 2 pieces of wadding in the center and then make them. So you do a different fabric on each side, but the person that I made this for, I thought that she might prefer it to have the same fabric on either side, so I just used this pretty green floral type one. And I'm really pleased with how this turns out and it fits the bowl quite nicely, and we might put a picture up of a bowl in it so that you can see how they sort of work.
If you use 2 different fabrics, then it's reversible.
Yeah.
Which is good. Yeah.
That's nice. So last podcast I mentioned that I wanted to make a Freya dress out of my purple floral ponte, which I have sort of done. So this is it here, and I just haven't done the sleeve hems or the bottom hem. Now, I have tried making a Freya top before, and I made it in a Tilly size 1, which is supposed to be equivalent to a UK size 6, which is a women's size 6, and the UK size and the Australian size are the same. So judging by my body measurements, that should have been a pretty good fit. I think it was like maybe half an inch or an inch smaller on my bust, but my waist and hips were either the same or I was slightly smaller. And I wouldn't have even been able to get that one on. It was just like
it was
tiny.
minuscule.
Like I realized that there is supposed to be negative ease built in, but I literally could not have got that on. So I took my measurements and paid no attention to them, and I made a Tilly size 4, which is equivalent to a size 12. Now I usually wear either a Australian or UK size 4 or 6, and this is a size 12, and even this is not at all loose. And so I don't know what the sizing is doing, but it is not. I don't know, but I can't seem to work it out. So I've made this, and I made the mock neck version, which you can see here, and I am not happy with this. Like, it is a real struggle to get it on over my head. So what I'm going to try and do is unpick that neck off and see if I can cut the neck hole that's there. I'm going to see if I can cut that to the size that you do the cowl neck, and then cut out a cowl neck and try and put the cowl neck on there from what I've already done, because I'm never going to reach for this if it's that much of a struggle to put it over my head. But other than that, I mean, I'm reasonably happy with it. And so I set this up completely on the overlocker. I did all the seams on the overlocker, which our overlocker didn't actually have the seam allowance marked on there, so I just followed a tutorial on how to mark out, I believe it was from your left overlocker needle to the seam allowance, so that you can cut off enough. And I mean, I am happy-ish with this apart from the neck. I don't think it's a perfect fit, but at least I can wear it. So the other plan that I mentioned last podcast was my Stella joggers, which is also from the Tilly and the Buttons stretch book. And a couple of podcasts ago, Mum mentioned that she was going to make the vintage Butterick 4118 track pants. And so we had a look at that pattern. Mum saw the ones that I was going to make, the Stellas, and she decided that she would also do the Stellas. So I have made the size 1, and you have made the size 4.
Yes.
So, judging by the finished garment measurements, I should have had 1 inch of ease around my waist and 2 inches of ease around my hips, but I don't really think I have that. And they're really quite fitted, and they're quite fitted in the leg, around the knee and everything. So again, I'm not really thrilled with this fit. I mean, they're wearable and they're fine, but I would definitely size up quite a few sizes next time.
Well, basically you can fit into mine, and normally you can't wear my clothes. So.
No, they're usually huge on me.
Yeah.
Because for a pair of track pants, like, I know that I said that I wanted a slimmer fit, but I was not looking for this slim of a fit. And I chose the size 1 because, judging by my measurements, I should have had 2 inches of ease around my hips, which I do not believe I have. And I mean, I checked the book even to make sure that seam allowances were included, and you weren't supposed to add them, and the book says that they include seam allowances, so I don't, and I'm definitely sewing with the right seam allowance. I know what seam allowance it is, and I mean, they're fine. Again, they're wearable, but they're just not what I was looking for. So if I ever do make this pattern again, I would size up to probably the size 4 because they fit me fine if I had the elastic around the waist. But to be honest, I don't really think I'll revisit this pattern. I think that I will try. I know this is a simplicity pattern that I've seen, and I think that that would work better for me. But these are my pants here. So they're in the green tracksuit fabric. So they've got these pockets, and I did a contrasting pocket facing in this rayon elastane jersey that I made a dress out of, which you could see in episode 1 if you wanted to. And how are yours looking?
So they're mine, and I've got a really cute pink heart pop of colour for my pants.
I love that. I think it looks so good.
So I didn't realise when we were making them you actually need elastic in the waistband, so we haven't finished them because we've got to order some elastic to finish them off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And are you happy with the fit of yours?
Well, I am, I suppose. It's funny actually because I felt like the vintage ones the leg was quite big and they were going to be maybe too big, so that's why I thought, oh, maybe I'll make these ones that are a little bit more fitted, and they fit, like they're not tight or anything, but now I'm wondering whether I should have actually done the vintage pattern, so I don't know. Yeah.
But like this pair of pants, I can wear these. Like if we got the elastic and did the elastic to my waist measurement, these were more what I was looking for, with a bit of ease around the hips, and then obviously because they're a bigger size, they've got a looser leg, and like the leg is not huge on me, and I mean, whereas these around the knees, like when I bend my knee, like
they're quite snug.
They're pulled pretty tight there, so they're not the most comfortable thing to wear for what I was looking for in a cozy piece of loungewear.
What I really liked was the pocket. I thought that was a really nice detail, which the other ones I was looking at didn't have.
Yeah. But for the next pair of track pants that I make, which I'm going to make more, I think that I'm going to investigate a different pattern that perhaps I can work out the sizing a little bit better. So to finish off, we just have a couple of sewing plans. So our first plan is the same. We want to make the Simplicity K8384 dress. So we're going to make version C down here, which is the shortest version of the dress with a handkerchief hem, and it's got these little short sleeves. So this is the dress that I made in that purple cotton that we showed in the first episode, and so I've made it before and I really enjoyed making it. So we're both going to make one of these, as I said, and Mum is going to make the size 12, which is what I made for her, and I have cut out the size 8, which is the second smallest size, which should be a pretty good fit with my measurements. It's between ½ an inch and an inch bigger than my measurements, but I think that that will still be quite a nice fit because the size 6 was a little bit smaller than my measurements. So this pattern is designed to have elastic in the back, which I didn't do for your version last time, and you're going to put elastic in this time, aren't you?
Yeah, I thought I might try putting some elastic in.
But I'm going to put waist size. I really liked the way that was.
So I'm using this really cute summery fabric with little flowers in pretty pastel colours, and I'm just so excited. I can't wait to make it. I just fell in love with this fabric and really, really keen to make it.
I adore that fabric. It's just beautiful.
It's just really pretty.
And the fabric that I'm using is from East Coast Fabrics. It's called Dainty Florals on Grape. So I ordered this online and went to pick it up, and it wasn't quite the colour that I was expecting. It's more sort of blue than I was.
It's sort of even, it's a bit lilac-y, isn't it? Grey lilac, yeah.
I think I like it. I'm not 100% sure, but I mean, I think it's going to be pretty.
I think it's cute.
So this is my pocket piece because I've already cut it out. And I'm really, really looking forward to making that. And then I just have one other plan. So I'd like to make the Simplicity 8602, which was what we were wearing in the last podcast. So I'm going to make this version that she's wearing here, but I'm not going to do those frills on the sleeves. I'm just going to make it a plain short sleeve like I did last time. And the fabric that I'm going to use is this, which is a Rose and Hubble cotton that I got from Spotlight. And it's just this beautiful navy background with these pink flowers on it. And I am so excited to make this. I don't know, I just love florals.
Very pretty.
So that's my last plan. So I think that's all of the crafty things we've got to share with you this time. I enjoyed watching this week.
And until next time, happy crafting.
So I'll just pop it on and show you. That's terrible. I'm not going to put that on.
I even mucked up your hair. That should be